Hello friends, welcome back to Hollywood Cine Mysteries. If you enjoy diving deep into history of legendary cinematic moments, understanding the creative process behind iconic action sequences, and uncovering the secrets of your favorite blockbuster films, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Today, we aren't just talking about a movie, we are talking about a test of human endurance. We are pulling back the curtain on the dark, sweltering heart of the 1987 sci-fi action masterpiece, Predator. When we think of this film, we think of one man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, playing the unstoppable Dutch. But the story of how this film was made is far more complex than the hero on screen. To understand why this film holds such a unique place in history, we have to look at production that was quite literally a survival mission. Let's journey back to the humid jungles of Mexico, where a group of hardened men fought to turn a chaotic, collapsing shoot into an immortal legend. The filming in Palenque and Puerto Vallarta was not a typical Hollywood set. It was a logistical nightmare. The production infrastructure was almost non-existent. There were no climate control trailers, no high-end catering, and often no access to clean water. The cast, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and Jesse Ventura, were living in basic, ramshackle bungalows. At night, the jungle was deafening, a chaotic symphony of insects and nocturnal animals that made consistent sleep nearly impossible. But this discomfort was exactly what director John McTiernan wanted. When you see the actors looking exhausted, covered in real mud, and genuinely irritable, that isn't acting. That is pure, unadulterated reality. Arnold later recalled that the isolation was so profound that he felt he was losing his grip on reality. They were hours away from modern civilization. If a medical emergency happened, help was a long, arduous journey away. This lack of a safety net created an underlying tension among the cast. They weren't just colleagues. They were a group of men forced to rely on each other just to get through the day. One of the most terrifying technical secrets of the film involves the M134 Minigun. To make the weapon look authentic, the crew decided to use a real military-grade minigun. The problem was that the gun weighed over 80 pounds, and the recoil was so violent that it would have physically torn the arms off a normal person if they tried to fire it standing up. To make it work for Jesse Ventura and Schwarzenegger, the armory team had it bolted to a custom Steadicam rig and connected to massive, heavy electrical cables that were hidden behind the actors' backs. Those cables were so thick they couldn't be easily disguised. That is why in almost every shot where the minigun is firing, you see the actors standing in a very specific, stiff position. They were literally tethered to a power source. If they had tripped or fallen, they could have been dragged into the rotating barrels or severely injured. It was a high-stakes, dangerous gamble, a testament to the go big or go home mentality of 80s action cinema that simply wouldn't be allowed on a modern digital set today. Now, we have to address one of the most persistent myths surrounding production, the casting of the creature itself. While Arnold Schwarzenegger was the indisputable hero of the film, the role of the Predator underwent a dramatic change. Originally, the studio cast Jean-Claude Van Damme to play the alien hunter. The initial concept was for the creature to be an agile, ninja-like assassin that moved with speed and fluid grace. However, Van Damme was reportedly miserable. He hated the heat, he found the complex, heavy suit claustrophobic, and he felt that his face wasn't being seen, which was frustrating for an aspiring star. There is a legendary story of him performing a high kick on set to show he could handle the suit, but the suit itself was a nightmare of stiff, unventilated rubber. When he eventually left the production, it was the best thing that ever happened to film. It forced the studio to pivot. They moved away from a martial arts alien and moved toward the terrifying, hulking, industrial-looking beast we know today. Stan Winston, the master of special effects, didn't just design a suit, he designed an icon. The legend goes that he was on a plane with James Cameron, doodling creature designs. Cameron, the visionary behind Aliens, looked over his shoulder and saw the insect-like mandibles. Cameron remarked that he always wanted to see something with mandibles. That simple suggestion turned a generic monster into a nightmare. Winston spent weeks in a small, sweltering workshop in Mexico, struggling with the humidity, which kept the latex from curing properly. He was working around the clock to ensure the creature didn't look like a guy in a suit. He used intricate motors for the face, creating a level of mechanical movement that was completely unprecedented for 1987. Even today, those practical effects hold up better than most modern CGI because they have physical weight, texture, and a tangible presence. Beyond the visuals, we have to talk about the sound. The Predator's iconic clicking and hissing wasn't just synthesized noise. The sound design team, led by Alan Howarth, went to great lengths to find organic textures. They recorded animals like snakes, monkeys, and even the sound of people breathing through different tubes to create that unsettling, alien rhythm. This sonic landscape was essential to building terror, as it allowed the audience to track the monster even when it was invisible. Speaking of that invisibility, the cloaking effect was achieved using a primitive, albeit brilliant, form of optical compositing. They use a red suit against a jungle background, and through a process of masking in negative space, they created the shimmering, translucent effect that baffled audiences of the time. It was an analog precursor to modern digital compositing that took weeks of tedious manual editing to perfect. Director John McTiernan was a mastermind of tension. He understood that the best horror isn't seeing the monster, it's fearing it. He purposefully kept the Predator hidden for the majority of the film. He told the camera crew to shoot from the perspective of the hunter. This is why the POV shots, the iconic heat vision, are so effective. They put the audience in the head of the creature. McTiernan also played psychological games with the cast. He wanted them to feel paranoid. So he would often tell the actors that a scene was going one way, and then introduce a sudden, loud explosion or a change in lighting to get a genuine, startled reaction. The fear in the actors' eyes when they're searching the canopy for an invisible threat was not just acting. That was the cast genuinely not knowing when the monster was going to strike. Ultimately, the film's success changed the trajectory of Arnold Schwarzenegger's career. Before Predator, he was the unstoppable force, the man who could win any fight. But here, for the first time, he was vulnerable. He was bleeding, he was exhausted, and he was being hunted. This shift transformed the audience's perception of the action hero. It proved that a hero is only as interesting as the threat they face. By stripping away his weapons and forcing him to rely on primal instincts and primitive traps, the film grounded its sci-fi premise in the grit of human survival. It moved the genre away from the polish of spy thrillers into the raw intensity of the slasher horror aesthetic, effectively merging two genres that Hollywood previously thought were incompatible. As we look back in 2026, Predator stands as the peak of a specific type of action filmmaking, a time when practical effort, grueling physical commitment, and innovative, experimental effects converged to create something timeless. It wasn't just a movie about an alien. It was a movie about the vulnerability of man, no matter how much muscle or weaponry he carries. This production taught Hollywood that you don't need a massive, clean soundstage to make an icon. Sometimes you need a jungle, a group of tired, determined actors, a genius creature designer, and the willingness to push past the brink of sanity. The mystery of Predator isn't just how they made it. It's that they managed to finish it at all. Before we conclude, if you enjoyed this deeper exploration into the survival story and hidden history of Predator, please hit that like button. Share this video with fellow cinema lovers, and drop a comment telling us what you think was the most surprising fact you learned today. Don't forget to subscribe to Hollywood Cine Mysteries. Your support allows us to continue bringing you these hidden stories behind the pop culture you love. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next cinema mystery.